been crazy. We basically moved houses, finally got our own place, started our social media business again.
Bought a scooter.
Yes, bought a scooter. Pretty much.
Yeah, I think for the past like almost 2 years now, we've actually lived with people, lived in other spaces, lived in other homes with people, and which was incredible to be part of communities and all of that. It was amazing, but now having our own space is amazing. And it's right up the road from the beach.
So that's awesome.
Yes.
We basically found a spot that was, I guess it's like holiday accommodation.
Yeah, it's like self-catering holiday accommodation.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool because it just meant that we could move in with our bags, which is basically just clothes and equipment.
Which is all we have.
Yeah, so that was really cool because everything was fully furnished. There was basically everything in it for us, so we could just move in. Obviously, because it's not like entirely our own space and we renting it out for a few months, we've kind of made it a home, and there's bits and pieces that obviously kind of stay the same. But yeah, it's really cool that we did find a place like this. When we got back to South Africa, we came back and we had a car. Obviously before we left, we had a car, we had a house, we had like all the adult normal things that you have. And then when we came back, we obviously didn't have anything, but we couldn't really get everything immediately. We couldn't really find a place because we went straight into lockdown. So you weren't allowed to move or do anything. So we stayed with Eddie's brother, and then we stayed with his sister, and then we were finally allowed to find a place. So we found a place. Thank you, Facebook Market. And we moved in about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think we are like on this journey of like living more consciously and minimalistically and just
Yeah, pretty much. So I guess it's like when you're moving so much and you're trying to find a place all the time and you're having to pack up, you're like, okay, do I need this? Don't I need this? Like, what can I actually take with me into the next season and the next season and the next season all the time? And so we kind of just got to a place where we were like, okay, we need to condense our lives in all aspects.
I think we found a lot of like life hacks, which we'll probably share in the weeks coming up, with like morning routines, with how do we buy clothing? Why do we buy clothing? Does it last for a season? Do we buy clothing seasonally? Even with stuff with shopping, the type of business that we do, like how much equipment do we need? Do we need all of that?
Which is actually the same with why we ended up buying a scooter. Because it was like, do we buy a car? Do we rent a car? Do we buy a scooter? And Eddie always wanted a scooter. Thanks to honeymoon in Bali. Yeah. So he always wanted a scooter, and then we were kind of like, because we're not also sure how long we'll stay, where we'll be next, what we'll do next, we didn't want to get into what's the word?
Like a financing agreement with a bank, or like buying a car and having to try and sell it, or if things go wrong with the car, more money on the car. So yeah, the scooter, and with like where we live, it's so convenient for us because everything's close by.
Yeah,
we literally walk across the road to the local Woolworths. Like I think it's just been like really cool to be able to be at this place where we are flexible but like stable in our routines. Wow, wonderful statue.
I just guess like even living with people for so long and like having not to adjust to like different rules, but obviously compromising because you're living with other people. Like we've learned a lot of habits and like structure that we've had to place in our own lives to make it work for everyone else around us, but also for us personally, which has actually been really cool because it's helped us live differently. Obviously when we first got married we stayed by ourselves, but just to see how different we live now compared to then has even really been cool. So we're pretty thankful for that season where we did have to stay with people. So
I guess like during this time where the world is pretty crazy at the moment with like COVID-19 and all of that's going on, I guess we have a choice of like, are we going to be negative about things, or are we going to be positive and adapt and change? And I think even with us staying in South Africa, moving over to the States, and even spending some time in the UK, like we really did some introspection in terms of like how are we living our lives? Are we being conscious about how we're living our lives, or are we just going with the flow? But are we the dreams and things that we have in our hearts? Are we actively working towards those? And I think that's what we've ultimately over the last 2 years like started really putting in place.
Yeah.
Is like eating healthily and exercising and having a good routine. All of these things, not just for the moment, but for our future selves.
Yeah.
And for our dreams and what we want to achieve, and for the world in general. I think we've never wanted to live lives that were just for ourselves, but we always want to be able to add value to people. So that's why we have this channel.
But yeah, we just basically hope that you guys are staying positive, that you're finding ways to make the season work for you, so that when we do go into the new season, that you feel stronger, that you feel better, that you're going in with different perspectives and continuing to learn and grow, because ultimately there's always an opportunity and there's always a chance to grow, and we know there's always goodness in everything that does actually happen.
Yeah, so like take this time, like really plow into your dreams. Like if you need to take it easy, take it easy. But I guess all in all, we are super excited to have our own space. We're excited that we can make more content like this now, and we'll probably go into like our routine and how we eat and living more consciously in general. But for now, let's show you some cool spots in our house. Okay, love ya.
Bye.
Bye.